Good morning, everyone. My paper is about language acquisition through media viewing, a phenomenological study. For the introduction, with the fast-growing technology and innovation, children are now heavily engaged to media viewing as part of their usual routines. 68% of children under age 3 use screen media such as televisions, DVDs, and video games on a daily basis, according to Dutch et al. 2013. And from the media viewing of the child, the sound, words, and phrases serve as the input to the child's language acquisition. There is no doubt on the importance of input to language development, and with this kind of context in language acquisition, Russia in 1985 proposed the monitor model with five hypotheses, such as the acquisition learning, natural order, monitor hypothesis, input hypothesis, and affective filter hypothesis. And from the five hypotheses, the study specifically focused on the input hypothesis, which states that language is acquired by receiving comprehensible input higher than the current level of competence. So there are two convictions of the input hypothesis, and the first one is speech would emerge rather than being taught as a result of acquisition through comprehensible input with competence successfully built. And number two, grammar is automatically acquired if comprehensible input is received and there is enough of it. But then again, access to comprehensible input as a viable type of language input is the main aspect of all cases of effective second language acquisition, and more quantities of comprehensible input to achieve better second language acquisition. The general objective of the study determine the language acquisition of children aged 2 to 3 who are exposed to media viewing. Specifically, the study wants to determine the media platforms the child is exposed to, determine the frequency and manner of exposure of the child, identify the sounds, words acquired from media viewing, and lastly, how the mother or the guardian engage in the child media viewing. The study used qualitative analysis using phenomenological study and purposive sampling to three mothers with child 2 to 3 years old, wherein one mother has 2-year-old child and the two mothers has 3-year-old child. They all live and reside in Tansabuak, Marinduque, wherein I conducted face-to-face interview using unstructured interview guide. So, according to the responses of the participants, Anna and Karen used the YouTube application for the media viewing activity of their daughters, which usually lasts from 1 to 2 hours, while Nina uses Facebook only for media viewing of her daughter, which lasts for 30 minutes or less. This is parallel to the claim of Dutch et al. 2013 that 68% of children under age 3 use screen media such as television, DVDs, and video games on a daily basis, and the generation today, according to Brown 2011, has greater access to electronic media than the previous generations. Since the 1950s, there had been some fundamental changes in Western culture which have placed television media at the epicenter of family life. Over the course of the last 50 years, television technology has changed with larger and higher resolution screen, clearer audio, and greater affordability, all of which have improved the quality of the viewing experience and increased viewing. Others, most of them claim that the words and sounds that the child acquired from viewing media are animal sounds, expressive language, and lyrics from nursery rhymes. Since the YouTube application is generally set in English language, the acquired words, expressive language, and lyrics from media viewing are also English, which depicts that the second language of the child whose first language is Filipino. Additionally, from the decoded narratives of the respondents as to the input received by the child and uttered in conversation, the two convictions from Krashen's hypothesis were evident wherein speech emerged rather than being taught as a result of acquisition through comprehensible input which competence successfully built, and second, grammar is automatically acquired due to comprehensible input received because of the media being viewed by the child is linguistically correct and established that suit beyond the knowledge of the child. YouTube application uses English language as the general language preference all over the world, although It can be changed to other language options, and the child viewer acquired the words and sounds according to the content, such as nursery rhymes and alphabet. Relative to the scenario, narrated by the mothers about their child acquiring language, sound, lyric, and expressive languages. This is parallel to the researches which claim that by 24 months, they can comprehend and imitate simple action contained in single shots and begin to integrate information across frames of screen media. In addition, the collective response from the participants is parallel to the report of Lineberger and Walker in 2005 about infants and toddlers' television viewing and language outcomes, which revealed that at 30 months, watching Dora the Explorer, Blue's Clues, Arthur, Clifford, or Dragon Tales resulted in greater vocabularies and higher expressive language score. Watching Teletubbies was rated to fewer vocabulary words and smaller expressive language scores. Watching Sesame Street was related only to smaller expressive language scores and viewing. In addition to this, Al-Harbi 2015 stressed on his study about the influence of media in children's language development that children's educational TV programs may result in vocabulary learning. It also stressed the values of educational programs and that of TV and other screen media have become a reality of life, and it is reasonable to utilize them only as a supportive tool for educating children. In terms of the engagement of the respondents to the media viewing activity of their daughters, all of them claim that the primary reason on letting the child to watch on YouTube or Facebook is the convenience it gives in babysitting, wherein the child just sits and watches while she gets to do the household chores. So this is parallel to the claim that many parents report that they view television as a peacekeeper in a safe and reliable activity for their children while they are preparing dinner, getting ready for work, or doing household chores. In addition, many parents testify that they feel better knowing that the program their children watch has been described as educational. Parents also believe that educational television is vital in healthy development are twice as likely to have the television on all or most of the time. Accordingly, Bittman, Rutherford, and Brown saw that the parental participation in tandem with a child's media use is more critical in making the interactive context and opportunity for using the presented vocabularies in interactive circumstances to increase the child's linguistic ability. Listening can only increase the collection of passive vocabulary. Words are understood but are not actively ready for use in speech. Then again, interaction with others, however, is the means of turning these passive vocabularies active. Several current studies have underscored the significance of interactions with the content of children's TV program as a means of developing the child's linguistic competence. It is also important to note that in terms of development, some 18 to 24-month-olds might be capable of learning from media, but others might not. Others variables Other variables that largely influence a child's ability to learn are the content of the program, the amount of television watched, and whether a parent is watching the content of the program with the child. Lastly, given the right condition, children between the ages of 2 and 5 may experience benefits from good quality educational television. And from this age group, evidences posits that this attention and comprehension, receptive vocabulary, some expressive language, letter sound knowledge, and knowledge of narrative and all benefit from high quality and age-appropriate educational programming. For the conclusion, language acquisition through comprehensible input from media viewing is contributory to the overall language development of a child. Screen media is undoubtedly a useful tool in language acquisition which provides language input to the child. Next, parent or guardian allows the child to use screen media as part of the daily routine with respective time limit of exposure because it serves as peacekeeper and instant babysitter of the child to get the household chores done. And lastly, Parents' participation to this kind of activity is crucial in taking it to an interactive context of learning. That ends my presentation. Thank you.